Are you ready to be unleashed and unstoppable?
Are you ready to experience a breakthrough and step into your next level of leadership?
Living a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms, unapologetically.
This podcast is for discovering how to play big, how to be unleashed and unstoppable.
Through wiring inner success at the source as you step into your full potential as a wildly ambitious leader.
We are
Lianne Carter and
Carol Register. We are certified Master Neurocoaches and the founders of Unleashed and Unstoppable You.
We're best known for being confidence-boosting, neurohacking, productivity, and wealth experts.
And for high-achieving leaders, visionaries, and entrepreneurs.
Now let's be unleashed and unstoppable. Happy New Year, listeners. Welcome back to a fabulous new year. Welcome to 2023. And I know Carol and I are so excited for this podcast episode to get you all set up and support you in being unleashed and unstoppable this year. We want to set you up for success by leaning into and talking about how to put your best asset to work for you this year. And not just this year, but every year, right? Every day, every month, every week, moving forward, you get to tap into your best asset. So Carol, what is this best asset that we're talking about? This asset that is with us all day, all night, and we totally don't think about it, right? We don't think about this asset that we have access to, and we want to support you in tapping into that and really maximizing the use of this asset this year.
Yeah, that's, the exciting part is, what is our best asset that's always with us? I love the question. And it's right between our ears, right? It is right here attached, at least for most of us, most days. I sent out a joke in our alumni group today, because it was, what was it? It was like, that part of your brain that used to memorize telephone numbers, I wonder what it's doing now. Right.
Well, our brain has so many different functions to it. And that's such a good point of like, we used to use that part of our brain to learn numbers. And what is that part of our brain doing now, right? Like, how are we using that resource?
It's doing Pearson's law. That's what it's doing. It's using our principles of wealth and productivity, right? And, the fun thing is that we often don't remember the power that we have, which we're going to talk about. But before we get there, I think it's really important that we talk about the fact that when we're looking at neuroscience, when we're looking at this beautiful, amazing brain we have, our best asset, we actually are talking about the fact that it's thought and emotion together that create our beliefs. And, if you are a science geek like me, and happen to be in my head a lot, it's been a learning process to connect with my heart and to really step up in that area. And that's really powerful. We're going to keep talking to you about this over the next few series because it goes back to who we are. And we want you to be aware that when we're talking about neuroscience, it includes your heart, it includes your intuition, it includes your emotion, it includes the fact that your heart communicates with your brain on a regular basis. And your heart has neurons. Your heart has well over 40,000 miles of neurons, I think it is. I can't remember. Your heart has short-term and long-term memory, and they've been able to establish that in science. So I think it's really important that when we look at this beautiful asset we have, we realize that it's all encompassing, because we know that, we're integrated beings, and a rising tide raises all boats. So we go through the neuroscience and we start to look at the way we think and the decisions that we make from that. But it's really about our beliefs. which are thought and emotion firing together. Thought always precedes emotion, but they fire together within microseconds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the cool part. That's why we often can't distinguish. And you may be more in your head, more in the thinking part, or you may be more on the feeling side of things. But it's one of the ways we can start to recognize, oh, it's about my beliefs. And that includes all of me, even my gut brain, probably, because our neurotransmitters some of them are made there, right? So, and there's cellular plasticity. I'm going off, but I just want you to be excited about what's available to you in terms of this asset that we have.
And because, you are, here's the thing, you're the creator of your thoughts, right? This belief system. And because you are the creator of your thoughts and you are the powerhouse of this brain and the heart. And I know when we talk about productivity or wealth, we also talk about the hand because being all connected, but there's the full body connection with everything that's going on in your body. It means that you actually can change your brain to transform your life, right? Your brain is this beautiful muscle that, you may have heard of neuroplasticity, right? So I always think of a piece of Play-Doh, right? That you can kind of play with and you can stretch out and play with, and you can mold it into different objects. Can you tell that I have a 2.5-year-old, right? But we play with Play-Doh and make different objects, but it's this simple, right? It's this blob of Play-Doh. And this one blob of Play-Doh can now become anything that you want it to become. And
that's a beautiful analogy. I love that.
Right. So, as you're wanting to build a house or a train or a car, you're taking this blob and turning it into whatever that you want to create. And this is why we're so excited to start off the new year with you guys is listening to this and thinking about, okay, how do I get to be unleashed and unstoppable this year? If a lot of us like to look at, the new year as kind of an opportunity to, hit the reset button, really look at what do you want to create this year, right? How do you want to feel? How do you want to be spending your time? When you're looking, and often will lead to sometimes setting goals and stuff. But we've got a previous podcast to talk about why, traditional goal setting doesn't work. But just think about that piece of Play-Doh and think about what is it that you want to create. And that's what's so beautiful. You have the power to create anything. I was just with a client today and celebrating what she's created this last quarter. And it was just leaning into, again, what's important for her.
Yeah. Right? What did she create? I know it was big. She's had some huge wins, some major breakthroughs, right?
One is creating more time. One is creating more money. And one was also being seen for the gifts and her skills and ability. And so one of the big breakthroughs was realizing that when she shows up as authentically herself, this is what she gets to create. And we know this is like a lot of our listeners and our audience and our clients, that's what they want to create, right? They want to create more time to do things that they love to do. They want and have a luxury of time.
Yeah.
They want to have these powerful relationships, which is also something she built. She realized how powerful her relationship was with those around her and the power of her being in those relationships, and then looked at really how when she steps into that true authenticity being herself, how she's then rewarded, right, financially for that. And just by being herself and just being her true authentic self. And I know we're going to dive in a couple
stepping into her power, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so this is when you look at that piece of Play-Doh, asking yourself that of like, what do you want to be creating this year? What is that physical feeling and also what you want to create? I know Carol and I like to talk about the cupcake, right? The cupcake, because you can actually taste the cupcake, you can smell a cupcake, you can eat the cupcake, you can feel the cupcake, and just that full around experience. And that's what's powerful for your brain. When you can connect on the 3D level of what is it you want to create, then you can go out there and create it. And so, and the feeling, right? Connecting with that
feeling. Yeah.
What you want to create.
And speaking into the bee, I know, again, stay with us. We have got so many exciting things coming up for you in episodes, and we're going to be having a series of master classes that are available for you, or we're going to have several of them. And the exciting thing is they're going to be fun, they're going to be interactive, and you're going to be learning the secrets of having unleashed and unstoppable wealth. Because when we start to think about our resolutions, our time and money, which are very intimately tied together, we get to unleash this beautiful asset that we have. And, we get to talk about the power that we have available to us, which is what you were speaking into, that neuroplasticity. We are not stuck. We have this piece of clay, which is so nice, that we can literally make anything out of. We can create the reality that we want to create. We can create the life that we want to have. Alex, Lianne, and I live this. We have done this in our own lives and continue to do this process ongoing. And that's why we're so excited to show you how, as well as our clients that are doing this as well and having amazing breakthroughs and going back to who they authentically are. You have that power available inside of you too. And that's what gets to be unleashed, right? For that limitlessness that is available. So that's one of the reasons that this is a beautiful asset. We talk about, the fact that our beautiful asset includes thought and emotion to equal belief, but it also equals power. That when you start to see that you have the answers inside of you. It's not Alex and I giving you the answers. These huge wins that the Alex's client that she was working with today just had were breakthroughs based on what her power is, what her authentic self is. And that's leads us right into the next part, doesn't it, Alex? Where, the third point that, well, we're not necessarily always doing points, but I'm thinking out loud here because my brain kind of thinks this way. So the exciting thing is that we want you to know what's available to you. And when we're talking about that power, we're also talking about your leadership, your confidence, who you get to be authentically. And it all works together. And it's something that, as a thinker, and even a little bit on the analytical side, I tend to see boom, 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 and I tend to go way big picture. But when we bring it all down for you to know, listener, it connects. It absolutely connects and ties together. And Alex, Lianne, you are an incredible leadership expert. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on us finding our leadership through this process of using our beautiful asset.
Well, as you said, Carol, right? It's kind of looking at the big picture and then getting a little bit more nitty gritty. And it's starting with looking at, what do you want? I love this question, right? Really getting clear, what do you want, right? Really getting clear on.
And why you want it.
Yeah. What you want, why you want it. And not just the tangible, like we talked about the cupcakes, but leaning into that feeling.
Yeah.
Really leaning into, what do I want to experience in 2023?
Yeah.
Who do I want to spend my time with?
Yeah.
Looking at ways of being. We get caught up so much in all of the doing, right? I want a new car. I want a new house. I want to go on this vacation. I want to work this many hours. I want to work that many hours. I want more money. I want more time. Yeah. But why? Why are those things important to you? What does the new house create? What does the new car create? What does having more time create? What does having more money create? What are those experiences that you get to create? If you have luxury of time, what becomes available to you?
Yeah.
What do you want your relationships to look like? And yes, in that leadership role is then really looking at, okay, this is what I envisioned for 2023, right? Taking that piece of Play-Doh, modeling right? What you want to build.
Reprogramming our brains, right?
And then really looking at, okay, so who do I get to be? How do I get to
Yeah.
show up in order to create that? So let me even look at that a different way. Like it's flipping it on its head, right? It's getting real clarity on what it is that I want, and then building that life by backwards by design. So if this
Yeah.
is what I want to create, who and
Who
knowing
do
who
I
that
get to
person
be to
is,
have that? Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
operate from the being that's already happened. And that was
Yeah.
what was really powerful in the conversation I had with my client this morning, is when we talked about like how it felt.
Yeah.
She leaned into the fact that she knew it was, she believed in what she created
She sure did. Yeah. She
because
sure did.
of using the tools that we teach our clients. So she
Yeah.
said, it was in my brain prime. We had primed it. We had worked through, we'd done through the work. We'd gone through, who do I get to be? She got to feel uncomfortable, and we got to celebrate that, to
Yeah.
create that. And now that she's
It's the
here,
it is done method. It
that's,
really is the
yeah.
it is done method. And, just touching in on talking about the why we want what we want. Like if you want more time and more money, what's the underneath that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things we're going to go deep with you on inside the master classes that are coming up. Is it for freedom? Is that what you want? Is it for experiences? Is that what you want? And as you refer to, is it for relationships, better relationships? Is it for your health? What does that look like for you? And that's a part of what we take you through in our program. I want you to know what's available to you. We really take you through a process to understand how to operate in your authenticity, in your being, and restoring that to you, restoring who you really are with that goal or goals that you have in mind. And as you said, looking at it from the backwards by design. So you get to walk into who you already are, having those things that you want, knowing why you want them. And it's a beautiful process. And what happens in the process of doing this is your confidence builds, your integrity with yourself. You begin to trust yourself, because that is key to how your confidence is built. Do you do what you say you will do? And when you do that, your leadership grows automatically, naturally. And again, we're leaders every day of our lives. And when we start to step into and take ownership of being a leader, it seriously, the limitlessness just goes off the charts, right? And that's where you start to step into more and more being unleashed and unstoppable. And it's a very clear process. And that's why we want you to know about this beautiful, and I use the word beautiful brain a lot, but it's a powerful asset that's sitting on our shoulders, right? It is our number one tool that's available to us. And it's because it's about the whole body. It's the headquarters. It's about, like you said, the heart, hands, and, knowing that it's already done, right? And this is one of the methods we have. It is done. It is done method to get you from A to Z, being who you want to be, creating that life and reality that you want to have.
When you step into the it is done, right? Knowing that your success is inevitable, whatever it is that you want to create, then you get to look at what you experience very differently. And this is a big shift that we are often sort of taught, and we operate from just one step at a time, which is important to definitely remove overwhelm. And we support clients and they're feeling overwhelmed to take the action step.
Break it down small.
Those action steps are coming from the end goal, the vision, and working the way backwards, and then staying the step that you're in, and being able to trust the process and what's going through. It's not to say that obstacles don't arise. I mean, I was with another client yesterday and she was sharing about all of these different obstacles that she encountered, and she overcame them because she was committed to her intention. She was committed in what she was creating, and she saw it as a journey. Those were her exact words yesterday. She said, what I realized in this process is this is a journey. And look at what I've created and the momentum that she has built up. Because, you know, I think we've talked before, like she wasn't doing the whole stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, which we often see the leaders that we work with experience.
Been there, done that.
She kept, right? She kept on the path. And
it's
she
the
acknowledged
consistency.
And just acknowledge that again, it's already done, and whatever I'm experiencing is part of the process and the growing and the learning that she was walking through. She stayed vision focused, and our brains, the way that we are built and wired, often have us leading based on past experiences. We let our brain creates it, that we lead based on what is it we've experienced in the past impact what our decisions we're making right now, versus being vision focused and vision led, impacting the actions you take, the decisions that you make to then create those results. So it's a shift, right? It's really flipping how you look at things. And so one thing that you also said, Carol, earlier, and it led me to remind the listeners to, when we talk about the brain, it's our biggest asset. And yet we are so busy, right? Like there's so much going on that we don't spend time with our brain. And our brain, as you said, is the operating system. It controls the result, right? And when we're so busy doing, and are finding ourselves in this more reactive mode of just, what, you know, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. We don't always allow ourselves time and space with the brain. And so for the audience, for the listeners, to really be able to maximize the use of your asset, my invitation to you is, if you have not taken the time yet, you know, as you started this new year, to connect with, again, like, what is it that you want? You know, we said this earlier, like, what is it that you really want? And not about just, again, all of these materialistic kind of things and the to-do list. Like, really sit with, what do I want? Like, what do I really want? And how do I want to feel every day when I wake up, when I go to bed? Like, who do I really want to be spending my time with? How do I want to be spending my time? We even look like at our finances and our money. How do we want to be spending our money? Like, how do we want to prioritize things? What's important to us? You know, another powerful shift earlier today with one of my clients was realizing how automatic sometimes we can become when we are thrown an obstacle and we just accept the obstacle, we shut down, versus pausing. And it's like, okay, what's my intention here? My intention is this. And so how do I get to look at things differently to still create the outcome that I want to create? And it's
you know, one of the things that happens using your brain and really looking into the neuroscience process that we have available for you is that the shifts happen a lot faster. So becoming unleashed and unstoppable and creating the reality that you want is such a beautiful process, and being unstuck and us getting out of our own way and stepping into the fact that we innately know we're meant for more. You know, that's a conversation that I was having with a potential client. And she said, I know I'm meant for more. And you were meant for more too. And just kind of tapping into that. If you have that sense that, and a lot of times we high achievers do, and we've already stepped into arenas of success and leadership. And it's like that innate knowing that we're stuck, knowing that we're meant for more. Well, this is why we're here. This is what we're excited to share with you, to give you a clear process on the way to use this beautiful asset that you have. And that's why we're leaning in today on, ask yourself, what do I want? Look at why you want that. Again, going back to, is it really the new car that you want, or what's the why behind that? I've always wanted that because, my father told me that I didn't deserve that, or I could never have that. That's an example from one of our clients. And so it wasn't the material thing. It meant something. It represented something about her worthiness, her growth, who she now is, and who she stepped into being authentically and powerfully. So looking at this asset, it includes your thoughts and your emotions that equal your beliefs. And you have power that you may not have tapped into, that you may not have realized that you have. And in going through this process, you're going to step into leadership and a higher level of confidence. And so we invite you. What do you want? Why do you want it? Who do you want to surround yourself with? And we invite you to jump on to our masterclass and come participate. Like I said, it's going to be fun and interactive. We're going to go through some of the pieces to this puzzle to help you know the secrets to having unleashed an unstoppable wealth. And we're focusing on wealth right now because it can provide you with those things that you really want.
So head on over to our show notes, click on the link that has the different dates and times available. And thanks so much for listening to another episode of Unleash Unstoppable podcast. We are excited to be with you on this journey with you this year, this amazing, exciting, beautiful year, 2023. And we want to be there to support you in creating your reality and creating the things that maybe you've said and declared over and over again that just haven't come to reality yet. And this is the year. This is the year by tapping into your brain, using that beautiful asset, the beautiful brain that you have available to you to create that success, to create that wealth, to create that luxury of time that you deserve. As Kyle said earlier, like you are worthy, you deserve this. And we are excited that you're here for the journey to create that. So connect with us on Instagram at unleash.unstoppable.you. Leave a review, likes, share this podcast with someone who could really benefit, who is also heading into 2023 being like, this is the year. And we will see you guys on the masterclass, and we'll also see you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye for now. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.